So these are the things we learn in this Solaris administration. So at the end of another 2 months or so, you will know all of these. Some of them are covered in part 1, some of them are covered in part 2. Can you tell me what are the things covered in part 1? I will underline them in red. Can you tell what are the things covered in part 1 based on my class yesterday? Yeah, tell me. Installation, then what else?
User setup.
User setup, then
File permission.
file permissions,
The mount file system.
then
Home
I
directory.
forgot SMF yesterday to write on the board. SMF, then
Directory structure.
directory structure, maybe we say file system structure or something. Or maybe on the file system.
Set
is the-
UID, sticky bit.
Sticky bit, all those things, okay.
Part 1.
Yeah, then
Networking.
network we do in part 2, right? Then
Monitor user access.
monitor user access, where is that?
Yeah.
Left.
Monitor process.
Here backup.
Monitor process, yeah.
Process within the
Monitor this also, then what else?
Monitor user access.
UFS, ZFS file
So
system.
there. What?
Yeah.
Down of yeah.
Okay, monitor user access. Then
ZFS file system.
ZFS file system, we do part 1.
Swap.
Swap is part 2.
Part
Like how do we install and
How to install, that is there.
Yeah.
But that jumpstart we do in part 2.
Part 2.
Some of them we do in part 1, some of them we do in part 2. Flash installation we do in part 2.
Run labels.
Run levels we do in part 1.
Part 1. Monitor backup.
Then file system types we do in part
Part
1. Roles we do in part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Log facilities.
Log facility we do in part 2.
RAID we do part 1. RAID.
RAID part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah.
We have some.
Part 1 we do a lot, right? So these
Ports,
things are
our
possible.
controlling port. What is
Configuring ports part 2.
We are going to do everything.
Part 2.
oh,
Most of the interesting subjects are in part 2.
terminal.
Yeah. So all the others are in part 1. What are the other things we did yesterday? I told you, like initialization files.
Yeah, naming file
Yeah.
system.
Naming file.
File system we did yesterday.
Yeah, we talked. File system is part 1.
Oh, yeah.
File system, no? And also we talked about initialization files. Initialization files we do in part 1. What is initialization file? When a person logs in, his environment has to be set up, right? I have a lot of variables to set up. I have to set up some printers for him, those type of things. So whatever has to be set up for him, message of the day, maybe for all the users, or maybe for this guy only, right? So I have to put it in initialization files. Then what else? Anything else we missed here? Anything you missed, Aisha?
This
Everything
partition
covered?
we did.
My memory is good?
Oh, I was surprised actually.
Memory is good?
Very good, excellent.
But
Excellent.
in small things, my memory is not good. Big things.
It's good that you have memory for big things.
Yeah, really. Because big things only for
Otherwise, you will cannot be a teacher then, if you just remember small.
the small things are not important. Big things are important. Then in the workplace, then you can find the small things easily, right? If you understand the big concept, then you can dig into that. Right? If you don't know the big concept, then you cannot. Right? You look like this. I have a knife. Because I have a knife, I don't use it. I have to cut an apple. Okay, how can I cut? I can use scissor, I can use knife, I can use this. Okay, knife is the right one. Then cut. So that's how you learn. Right?
Open boot prompt we learned part 1.
Part 1. Yeah. Open boot from part 1. Yeah. Yesterday I forgot to put this in the part 1 curriculum. Sorry about that. Then what else? This one part 2. Whole space fast part 2.
Package.
Dump is also part 2. Package also, yeah.
Part
Package.
one, yeah.
Package part 1, patch part 1.
Patch part one.
Right? All these are part 1. Part 1 is quite long. Right? There are a lot of things in part 1. And then what about restore? Restore file system, backup file system, backup file system, and introduction to SMC, initialization files, SMF, FMRI, all those, part 1. Print server, print environment, that is part 1. Right, so a lot of things in part 1. So we will take 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes or 7 minutes break, and then we will continue. Okay? Thank you.
We will get another book for part 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this
So we talked about all what we are covering in this program. We are going to cover, right? So the first section is going to be installing. We will do later, but the first section is going to be how to organize things in the computer and how it is already organized, right? So let's check how it is already organized. Okay. So at home, right? If you want to put your clothes, you put it in one place. You don't just throw away everywhere, right? Why you don't throw away everywhere? You put it in one place. What is the reason?
You will not find it.
When you are going to find, then you will have a problem. If you throw everywhere, you can't find the cloth, right? For that reason, you put it in one place. The system also like that. So we have to organize the system first. The system is already organized, but later when we are adding more and more data, we have to organize our data directory, right? That you all know, right? But we will see how the system is organized. You know the system starts from root file system, right? So the system starts from root file system. Under that we have a directory called USR, which could be a file system. That's what we did yesterday, right? USR is a directory, but it could be a file system as well, right? That I decide during the installation. I can't decide after I install, because USR has lot of system binary files, commands, system libraries, all those things. So if I want to create USR as a file system, I have to decide before I install the system, right? In a under normal circumstances, right? Pardon?
Just one small question.
Yeah,
So
sure.
if you decide USR as a file system or directory, I mean, what's the advantage or disadvantage? Why are you going to consider that?
Sure.
one?
That's a good question. So why we have to decide USR as a file system or as a directory? What is the advantage of file systems? Why can't I put everything in one root file system itself? What is the advantage? Tell me.
You can maximize
That is
the
what files.
Tell me again.
You can maximize the space whenever you want.
You can control space like this.
And on the fly.
Yeah, because one thing is, if you are using a particular file system and if it is getting filled up, the other file systems won't be affected. So I can isolate your activities, your file system expansion to one particular file system. That is one advantage. Second one advantage is when I am giving security, for security wise, permission wise that is better. Permission wise, it's easier for me to give permission, right?
Okay.
Maybe I put all the sales data in a particular file system, all the accounting data in another file system, then security wise it's easier for me. Third one, when I'm backing up, I don't have to back up the entire thing. I back up only one file system. Easier for me to back up also, right? Then the fourth one,
On the fly expansion.
pardon?
On the fly expansion. Expansion on the fly.
Yeah, I can expand either on the fly or without that also I can expand. I back up small amount of data, not the whole thing, then I can expand. Another one, but that is only when you have a file system. That is can't be said as an advantage here. Okay, another one. I can U-mount one file system, U-mount it, and I say now all the people using accounting, they can't use something like that. I can cut access to a particular file system if I feel something wrong there. Or I can U-mount it and I can do a FSCK, file system check, right? Or I can U-mount and take a full backup, online full backup, and then put it on, keep it on, turn it on, start the file system. All this can be done, right? So that's what is a file system. So he asked a question, why USR has to be a file system, sometimes a directory. In my personal experience, right, if I am installing a lot of programs, those programs will go and update the USR and OPT. Okay? So OPT has to have some space if I'm installing a lot of applications, and also USR has to have space. But if I don't know how much space I need, then what I do is I create USR as a directory, right? And then I give more space to root, right? More space to root. So whatever I install will be under root. I give several terabytes to root. I can install any program. Even OPT I will make it as a directory, right? USR is a system file system or system directory, right? It's not your data. So your permission and all won't have, it's not having an effect on that, right? So you don't have to have much consideration, right? Other consideration other than what I told now, right? But in the case of var, if you ask me a question, why var should be a file system or a directory? Can you give me an answer? Var is something variable in size, which is going to change in size. Users are going to create more jobs. Jobs may be cron jobs, maybe add jobs, maybe mail, maybe what is the other one? Printing.
Size will fluctuate.
So size will grow, and the growing of the size is not under your control. The growth is not under your control. Because people are printing a lot of jobs, they are not deleting their old jobs. So it will keep on expanding, right? So those things, file system is better. The original idea of file system is, if my hard drive is not that big, I divide the hard drive into different portions. I allocate different portions for different people or for different functions. Then whenever it expands, it won't affect the other one. So in this var example, that applies, right? But in the other examples, nowadays hard drives are very big, right? Hard drive is not expensive, right? I told you when I bought my first hard drive, 5 megabyte hard drive, it was about $1,000. 5 megabytes only. Because at that time for WordPerfect, WordPerfect is one floppy. So I had to attach the floppy. So I had to put the floppy in the drive A and start WordPerfect, right? Then if I want to do spell checking, then I had to take the floppy out and put the other floppy, second floppy. That only has spell check.